actually see where the cycles go. Of course, in September, you can look down and you can see that she had 19, 17, 8, and 8. And if you add all of those up, that's where she's reaching 50. And so it's really, really important that you're able to track. Now, we're going to go a little bit more into that, but for the reports, the 4-week projected smart ships tell you how many smart ships and projected volume, process volume, that there is. And so there's also another report when you go in there, it says projected smart ships. So she can go ahead and go into 86, 87, 88, and 89 right now, and she can see what her projected cycles will be. And then she can go back into her group, and there's another report talking about smart ships and how many smart ships she has and how much volume that she can count on coming in. Now, it's really important to be able to know where your people are and to be able to help them progress in the business. And so I really urge you to go out and to look at all of these reports, but there's something about just looking at them and another thing about printing them and actually writing and having a game plan. And so that's something that we do often with the people that are running and want to reach those different goals, including ourselves and our goals. And so this business is a business of helping people win, right? But again, we want to have that stable income. Hint in promoting with the smart ships, when talking with your business partners, remind them what they do is what duplicates. And so it's so important what they don't do duplicates and what they do duplicates. Right? And so it's something that you have to be able to teach. This isn't I hope I'm going to get to that level. That's not what this business is. You plan to go to those different levels. So when we're talking cycles really quick right here, this guy was a 3-star, but to go 3-star pro, an average of 13 cycles a week is what her goal was. And so even if she can get those 13 cycles each week, she knows that she'll have that stable income that she can count on. And again, when she has the recruitment with the founders and all the packs coming in, it's gravy. It's on top of it. It's getting her to the next level to get people on SmartShip, to have that solid baseline and stability of income, because that's what we really want. People don't quit when they have a stable income and they see growth. And so we're always having that as a baseline. So 13 cycles, of course, a week would get you to pro. 3-star elite, 25 cycles would be per week would be there. And then for 4-star, a goal would be to hit 50 cycles per week. I love that because you can count on it. We want a business that you can count on. So that's just a little example of what I do when I'm tracking each week. I know where the people are, I know where the cycles are, and I also print out that smart ship so I know where I can hit and I can talk to people and promote the products to add on to SmartShip to have that stable income. So legacy businesses need to be solid, residual income. It comes from a legacy business. Help your team know from the beginning that building a stable income by setting SmartShips and cycle goals supports their future. I want to finish with this because I'm watching all my neighbors go to go to work. The one thing that most people are afraid of is losing their jobs today. The number one thing for a networker is having to find a job. And I can tell you, when I'm watching them go off early in the morning with coffee in their hands and sleepy eyes, I'll tell you, I'm so grateful for this industry. I love it. It's in my blood. It's in my DNA. And I'm so excited. I just feel like when we go out and share the opportunity that we kind of go into a house and the curtains are all closed and I open them up and I say, look, there's a whole world out there that we can explore. So it's a pleasure being with you and I'm excited to hear Lance.
Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah, and just to finalize on Tracy's thoughts here with that cycling every week, we've been around, and in 30-something years that we've been in the industry, we've seen a lot of, in music, they call them one-hit wonders. Somebody who goes out there and creates some type of song. There's a lot of music, everybody celebrates them, and then a couple months later, you never hear them again. We've obviously seen that in our industry a lot. And what we want to do is if you're going to build a legacy company, if you're going to have a lifestyle that's going to last more than a few years, I mean, really, when I got involved, they said it's a 2 to 5 year plan. I'm like, in 2 to 5 years, I'll be in my mid-20s. It better be a lifelong plan. And that was a different perspective. And to build this based on what you have as a weekly income versus hitting a rank and then not hitting it again, that's going to secure your business. And so let's go ahead and talk about building a legacy, about what it takes to build a long-term business. And I'm going to talk through this real fast. Each one of these topics are probably an hour conversation that we've done, over the years. But I'm just going to give you a real quick overview. The first thing is this: and I was talking to somebody this week. I have a new guy that just joined, and he was saying, you hear about this. If you were to go back and talk to you as a brand new networker, what would you say? And I'll say one of the most important things for us is that you need to think long term. For us, we got involved in the industry as I said, as 21 years old. We wanted to build a life of this thing. I thought if we're going to do this thing, we want to do it in a big way. We want to do it long term, and to do that, you have to think long term. Now, unfortunately, in today's world, there's a lot of people who they have a hard time thinking about tomorrow or the next day or what's going to happen this week or next week. I mean, literally the attention span for most people, years ago, we'd get somebody involved and you had 6 or 8 months to help them get started and get going before they'd start to fade off. Now, sometimes you have a day or two just because people's attention span isn't there. And I'm going to tell you, you've got to be able to think long term if you're going to build this business in a substantial way. There's a lot of distractions out there. There's the gig economy. There's a lot of people that go out there and do different things. And the reason why is because they go drive somebody today and they get a check, the same day. And that doesn't work over here in this industry. But the problem with that is as long as you're trading time for money, you'll always trade time for money. And for us, what we wanted is we wanted something that would allow us to walk away from our full-time jobs, have a residual-based income, and be able to allow us the freedom. A lot of people look and they say, you know what? I had somebody just last month say, I'm not really big on money. I said, me either. And if you think that's what I'm here talking about, you made a mistake. I'm here talking about freedom. I could care less. I'd rather live in a trailer down by the river and have my freedom and be able to do what I want to do than to be able to have somebody tell me when to get up and when to go to work and when I can go on vacation and how much I'm going to make. And so you've got to think long term if you're going to do this. And you've got to be patient with yourself. I know for us, we got involved in, literally the week I got involved in the business, my mom told me to clean my room. That's how young I was. And so I had no credibility. We didn't have a lot of people that were listening to us, and we knew we needed to grow. And I sat down with one of my mentors when we first got started. And I said, I really want to build this big. You think I can do it? And he looked at me and looked at my lack of experience and my lack of knowledge and my lack of people skills. And I said, do you think I can do it? And he actually said, no. He said, but you can learn and grow and change. And I realized at that point, this wasn't going to happen overnight. And a lot of people look at, over the years, I've had people that I've asked, I said, how would you love to have 25,000, 30,000 people in your team and be, building this monstrous business? How would you like to have that right now? And everyone says yes. And I said, do you think you can hold that group and lead that group yourself? And a lot of them get real quiet. And I'm going to tell you this, that our industry is a personal growth business. It's a personal growth opportunity, or it's a personal growth venture with an opportunity on its back. And so I love these calls. I love the, when iron sharpens iron. When you get people together, they share ideas. Tracy talked about the cassettes and the books. People, when I got involved, somebody handed me The Magic of Thinking Big. That led to the How to Win Friends and Influence People, and thousands of books later, and thousands of cassettes later, and thousands of CDs later. And we've grown a lot. But again, when you grow and you're on this personal growth journey, the further you go, the further you realize you have to go. And that's why I say at the beginning, we can't wait to hear all of you and learn from you as well, because that's the journey. My goal is to when I die, I want to be 105 years old on the beach somewhere reading a self-help book with my 10-year goals in my hand. That's my ultimate goal. Because that's really the way we want to live our life. Thinking long term is important because a lot of you have seen this example of a penny doubled every day. Would you rather have a penny? Would you rather have $1 million or a penny doubled every day? And a penny doubled every day goes from 1 cent to 2 cents to 4 cents. And as you see by this example, by the time you get to day 30, you're at $5 million. The problem in our industry is there's something called the shiny object syndrome, and a lot of people get caught up in it where they go jumping and they start something, they start to build it, they start to get some traction, and something else looks better, they jump somewhere else. And so take away the days, and you can put in weeks or you can put in months, but they get started, they go from 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 8, they get to the point where maybe they have 50, 60 people in their group. And then they jump and they go somewhere else and they got to start over again. And a lot of people never really get to this point. And I'm going to tell you, one of the reasons why we've made tens of millions of dollars in the industry is after 36 years, is we got involved in the industry. The first company we were with, we were 20 something years. And I tell people that we didn't leave it. It actually left us because they changed the comp plan. The owner stepped down, the kids took over, and they went in a totally different direction. And so we moved at that point. And then from 2007 until we decided to launch 3, this was our second company. And a lot of people never see this because what they do is they jump from one place to the next. And so that kind of leads me to the second point is don't quit. Oh, Amazon shows up. That's kind of a normal every hour thing over here now. But lately, we've been remodeling the house. If you're tired of starting over, stop giving up. You know, all of us get in this thing and we have this plan of what we want to do. And I'm going to be honest with you. My plan was to get involved, you know, be 6-star and do all this kind of, but here's the reality is that life happens to you. You know, we all get involved. We have goals and, you know, your plan is a straight line, but that's not the way the success works. You know, right now it's fishing season out here in San Diego, and I've got an offshore boat, and I often go 100 something miles off the coast to go catch tuna, catch dorado, and that sort of stuff. And what ends up happening is I have a GPS, and I put in the coordinates I want to go to, and I get off. I launch my boat, I head off the point, and I'll head out there where I can't even see shore for most of the day. And what's funny is I'll go ahead and do it, and my GPS actually tracks. And when I come back, my point was to go to point A to point B, and I never got to from point A to point B. My track is all over the place because I got wind, I got currents, I've got birds moving, I got fish moving, and that's really the way that our business is it really doesn't go exactly the way that you want it to, and you got to be prepared for that. You know, we got involved in the industry, and it's funny because at 21 years old, we were going to go out there and knock it out of the park with our first company. The first year, we worked all year long. We got one person that actually got in and did it. The second year, one person with a group. We probably put in 10 or 15 people, but one person actually paid off, and it was actually my parents, which they thankfully made about $4 or $5 million with us. The next year, we went and sponsored about 15 or 20 others, and we got one more person. And the next year, we sponsored I think 25 people. The next year, and we got one more person the third year. And by the 6 years that we've been involved, or we were in, after 6 years, we had 6 good legs, and we're making 7 figures. And if you would have told me at the very beginning, man, you're only going to get one good one a year, I probably would have been frustrated. But by that time I was 25 or 26, we bought the house we live in today and had a 7-figure income that played out for a long period of time. And so think long-term and don't quit. And I want to share this with you because this happened for us. You know, our first year, we got in, we built it, we got up to probably 70 or 80 people. My parents got in because they wanted to support me. But 1 year into it, after probably having 80, 90 people in our business, I got a phone call from one of my best leaders that says, we quit. And he says, I got a better job up in LA. I'm moving and we're not going to do this anymore. And he says, I called my entire team and they're all quitting too. And I thought, well, that was great of you. and I mean, literally, our business went from 100 people to 3 people, 5 people like that. And I remember thinking to myself, I mean, literally until probably year 4 or 5, the fastest momentum I ever had was in reverse. And I wasn't expecting that. But I remember I was sitting there at that point, 1 year into this thing, there's 3 people left, you know, 90% of my team just quit. I looked at my wife and I said, what every networker says at some point in their career is, I said, I quit. And we got real quiet for about 20 or 30 seconds. And then I looked at Tracy and I said, so now what? and I thought, you know, I don't have anything better than this. And so let's get going again.
We went to an event.
And we went to an event, we set some goals, and the rest was kind of history after that. But if you see this picture right here, 80% of the people that are out there that we see in this industry, they hit that wall. And people don't really quit the business. They really just kind of fade away. They stop getting on these calls. They stop showing up at the weekly calls. They don't go to the next event. And they go away. And I'm going to challenge you that when life hits you, and life is going to hit you in this, that rather than going out there and just kind of succumbing to it, you know, because you're not going to find something better out there than what it is we're putting together over here. I'm telling you, the history books, when they're written years from now, it's going to have 3 across the, you know, on the front few pages of it. And you're not going to find something better. But when life hits you, think about that and just, you know, buy a ticket to the next event. You jump on the next call, get with your support team, and work yourself through it because it will make all the difference in the world. And I wanted to share this one for those of you that are leaders, because I know a lot of you that are leaders on this call. I have a real dear friend of mine that passed away a few years ago named George Halsey. And he was talking about being a leader of leaders. And that's really what you want to get. If you're going to build a big team, you're going to have lead thousands of people. And he used this analogy, and I stole it from him, and I've used it for years. But he says this, he says, leading an organization, a big organization, is like having a flatbed truck with thousands of people on the back. And it's your responsibility to have a smooth transition, because what happens is if you go out there and you start swerving your truck around, all the people are going to start to roll off the back. And if you swerve too many times, you're going to get to a destination. There's going to be nobody there following you. And I say this as a warning that again, I made my second move in 36 years. in 2023, this last year. There are people who have actually been in 6 different companies since we launched 3 that I know that are leaders in the space. And there's a lot of leaders that jump from place to place. I know certainly we've seen that, recently here. And I'm just going to tell you this, that again, going back to you got to start at 0 again. But you're also getting to the point where you have a responsibility as a leader. You have a responsibility to go the way and show the way. And for us, what we want to do is we want to create an environment where we're rock solid as leaders. And the larger your organization gets, the bigger the responsibility is to stay on course and not really make the swerves. And I was having fun with AI, with Grok's AI, and so they actually made those images for me. So I thought that was kind of funny. Yeah. So last couple of things. Number 3 is focus on your why. As long as you have a dream in front of you that you know what it is you're doing this for, you're going to be fine. You'll be able to move forward. There's a lot of you on here that know what to do. You know how to do it. Your biggest thing you're missing, or the piece that you're missing, is why you're doing it. And for Tracy and I, that was an important one for us. And we've always done dream goals. We've always done boards. We've always had stuff in front of you. If you follow us on social media or Facebook, you'll see that I do a lot of posts about having the why in front of you. You know what it is that you're doing. And for some of you, it's financial freedom. For some of you, it's a purpose of helping others. For some of you, you want to help, people that are less fortunate. Whatever it is that makes you move, you've got to keep that in front of you all the time, because when you do hit that wall and you're frustrated and you're not sure if you want to move on or not, you've got to have something in front of you. And this right here is my dream board. For the first probably 30 years I was in the industry, I actually had this on a mount above my bed. So every morning when I woke up, and you can kind of see, I broke it down into to categories where what I wanted to achieve personally, what I wanted to achieve physically, spiritually, business-wise, financially, what it is I wanted to do. And, today I actually have 3 screens on my desk and all of those things pop up. And so I have a little different method today. But for us, we've always kept that in front of us. Yeah. And we've accomplished, a lot of our financial dreams and goals we accomplished by 30. And so from that point forward, we had to have other things that moved us. And one of the reasons why we're building this today is because we really want to build a legacy company. We want to, pass the baton or pass the microphone to the next generation leaders and watch them be blessed the same way we've been blessed. But keep your dreams in front of you, or keep your why in front of you. Number 4 is consistency. This is kind of the key one for the Tracy and I. For Tracy and I, we weren't flashier than a lot of other people out there. There were a lot of other people who, maybe had more charisma or whatever you call it. They had the secret sauce that, made them grow, the mojo that made them grow fast. I'll tell you what worked for Tracy and I is Tracy and I would get up every morning. We would make phone calls. We would, contact people to see the program. We would show the program to them or share the products with them. We would follow through with them. We'd get them started. We'd do the same thing. And this little cycle of putting a name on a names list, inviting that person, showing the program or sharing the products, following through with them, getting them started. We did that circle. We did that loop 15 to 25 times every single month for about 7.5 years. As a matter of fact, the first time we actually stopped, we had a month where we couldn't do it 15 to 25 times. It was because we had 3 trips that month that we had to go on, and we still, I think, got in like 17, or 14 or 15 of them. But I've been telling you, consistency is the key to this thing. There's a lot of people I've seen out there that have hit ranks really fast and then they go away. For us, we're never really the first one out there, but there's very few people that are going to be more consistent than we are, because consistency is the key long term. If you go to a restaurant and you love what they have, and then you show up again and you bring friends and they're closed and they say, sorry, the kitty's sick and we're not here today. You're probably not going to go to that restaurant very, very often. And if that is how you lead your group, you're not going to have a lot of people to lead. I'm just going to be honest with you. They want someone who's the rock. They want somebody that they know. They don't have to call and ask you, hey, are you going to be at the conference next year? They don't have to worry about whether you're going to be on the next calls, because you're the leader that I always tell people, what would it be like if you had 1,000 people on your team that were just like you? Would you get a pay raise, or would your income go down? and so that's kind of a litmus test as far as where you're at, and consistency is the key to this one. Success doesn't come from what you do occasionally, it comes from what you do consistently. For Tracy and I, here's a funny one. It's kind of off topic, but this last week, one of our goals on our list that we actually took or accomplished this week was building this gym. We have a room that we've got 3 daughters that moved out, and so one of my daughters became became a personal gym. We cleaned it out, put a mat on, painted the walls, put some mirrors up, ordered some gym equipment.
Journey of greater health and purpose.
Well, at least someone's listening.
And Dr. Dan's talking to me in the background. That's awesome. So I show you this because if any of you have gone through this journey before, for Tracy and I, we've gone through periods of time where we worked out real heavily for us. I needed to drop some weight, so we've been walking a lot, but I haven't been lifting a lot. And so we put this together this week. And if any of you know the process, you've got to be in there all the time. When you go in there once, this week we've been in and we've hit shoulders one day, we hit chest and back one day and we hit legs one day. And all that does is just tick off all your muscles and makes it hurt and it's painful. And for those of you that are brand new and you jumped in, you maybe you got some no's, maybe you had some people that got involved that didn't pan out. Maybe you put some hope in some people that didn't get in. At the beginning, there's pain, but I'm going to tell you this. I know the same as going to the gym consistently. Ultimately, that pain is going to lead to muscles. But if you just do it seldomly, if you just do it every now and then, all you're going to do is feel the pain and you're not going to see the results. And I'm going to challenge you. When you get serious about this, put your heads down, go make a run and do it for, don't do it for a week or two. I mean, literally give it when we decided to quit, we said, you know what, I'm going to give this one more year. I'm going to do everything they tell me to do. And if it doesn't work, it's their fault. And what they told me to do worked, and we saw results. But it really, the consistency is the key. And the last part of it I wanted to share is building others. As my friend Zig Ziglar said, you can get everything in life that you want if you're just willing to help enough other people get what they want. And that is so true in our industry. There's a tendency in our industry today where there's a little bit of narcissism out there where, and I get the whole brand yourself and I understand all that. You want people to know who you are. You want to, be a digital creator and have people look up to you for advice on things. But honestly, the goal in this thing, if you want to build it big, is you really want to pass that leadership on to the next generation that's coming up. When you have leaders that come up, celebrate those people. And I'm going to tell you one, the best leaders that you're going to have show up on your team are going to probably be one of the hardest ones to work with. And they're going to make you the maddest. But one of the things I always do with my team is I'll sit there and say, who's the best person on your team? And they'll give me a name or two and I'll say, are they easy to work with? Yep, usually no. And I ask them, I said, when's the last time you told them? The idea of this is to celebrate others. I know for our first run in with our first platform, I remember we had an event where, we had built for a while and we started to have our own events after a few years. And we built it up to where we had 10,000 people in an event. We had 50 people that were $1 million earners on our team. And I remember sitting in the audience and we had a complete convention. It was a convention that we ran. But our names were never mentioned on stage. It was all the leaders that were in our depth that were recognized on stage. And a lot of them had hit new ranks. And we sat in the back room and somebody came up to me, a personal of mine that was brand new, that says, well, isn't it kind of weird that nobody here's mentioning your name? And I said, I absolutely love this. This is the greatest day of my life because I know that we've passed it on. And that really is what this is about, is building other people. One of the things that I'm just going to leave you with is that 3 is a collaboration. A lot of people have spent a lot of years in this thing. I look at this call alone, and I remember when we first got involved at 21 years old, Columbo and Karen were one of the first millionaire speakers that really came up on stage and changed our lives. And they passed the baton to us. And I don't think we'd necessarily even be here if it weren't for Columbo and Karen and the example that they set. And I looked at them as a husband and a wife, as parents, and I said, that's the kind of life that I want to live. A couple years later, we went and spoke for Randy and Susan Walker. And some of you don't know this, but they had 7,000 people in an event in Texas. And we got a chance to see them building something amazing out there. I look at, people like Cindy Maddox has got 43 years and just absolutely killed it in New Skin and has been with several different companies and built massive teams. I got Linda McCormick on here, and Mike and Linda were some of the best rock stars that really came out of this when we made our first transition. We left our first platform and there was about 15 of us that got sued for $100 million. And thankfully, Mike was able to get us out of it. But we watched them go from zero to $500,000 a year income in about 6 months. And I look at Christine Peterson and I look at, what she's done and what a legend there. And I look at what George and Adrian have done. And, certainly with Kim, and the legacy that she's built. And, there are the greatest people I've ever seen that have built legacy businesses in this industry. They're here. And some of you don't even really maybe realize it. And so I want you to have the comfort that there's a lot of folks. I mean, I bring the level down, but the rest of them are all pretty sharp. And we really are serious about building a $1 billion brand and making this thing last. And yeah, there's going to be some yahoos that are going to come and go, and there's going to be people that are going to chase the shiny object. But this is a company that's going to be reckoned with. And I'm going to tell you, if you're brand new, you may look and say, well, yeah, maybe you're having success because you've done this for a long time. I have done this a long time, and I know this. And I know if I were to, if we had to start again tomorrow somewhere else, that we'd make it, because there's only a certain amount of skills that you really have to master. You got to learn how to write a name down. You need to learn how to communicate with people. You need to know how to present this and show people how this could solve their problems. You need to be able to follow through with people and help them get their started. And you need to help them pull out their dreams and give them something to run for. Those skills, once you master them, you're going to build an amazing business. But I'm going to tell you this, it's simple, but it's not easy. And it takes certain things. It takes integrity, it takes character, and it takes the willingness to lock arms with like-minded people and build something amazing. And that's why I'm so grateful to be on this call this morning and be partnered with all of you that are here. For us, my mentor, Dexter Yeager, had an example where he had a bunch of of pencils that were rubber banded together. And he went ahead and he tried to break them from stage, and he handed it to a handful of leaders that were in the room, and we all tried to break the whole group of pencils together, and we couldn't do it. And then after it went through the whole room and nobody could break the bundle of pencils, he pulled one pencil out and he snapped it in half with 2 fingers. And that really is the way that it is with leadership. And I know that everything rises and falls on leadership. The leadership is here at 3. We've got the right CEO and Daniel Pacuth. It's somebody that we met years ago that I thought, you know what, this is a guy who's going to change our industry, and I believe that more so today. Same with Dr. Dan, the opportunity we've got in place, the leaders that we've got in place. This is going to be something amazing, and we're just really excited to build this with all of you. We're humbled to build it with all of you and be partnered with you, and we're just looking forward to building something amazing together. And so with that, I've taken more than my time. God bless you all. Have a fantastic weekend. And again, we're honored to be here with all of you. And so thank you, George. I appreciate it, my friend.
Thank you very much. Amazing Zoom. I just put the link for the Zoom channel. This is already available there. You can go right away if you want to share it to somebody else. I put the link a couple of times there on the chat. Thank you very much again, Lance and Tracy. Super, fantastic. Thank you very much. And we'll see you next time, everybody. See you. Bye. Thank you very much.
Lance and
God bless.
Tracy.
Have a great weekend.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Bye, George.
Thank you very much.
Great job,
Thank
you
you.
guys. Great job.
This was
Yeah, yes,
amazing.
great job.
Thanks, Leslie.
Awesome. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate all of it.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.